Welcome aboard the Bitcoin Express. My name is Chase. Let's get to it. In today's video, we're going to talk about 4 misconceptions about blockchain. Ever since the invention of Bitcoin and blockchain, there's been so much hype around the word. Blockchain this, blockchain that. It got so crazy that at one point in 2017, a company called Long Island Iced Tea that sells iced tea simply added the word blockchain to their title and their stock jumped by 200%. And of course, this doesn't make any sense. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the 4 misconceptions about blockchain, and let's get to it. Misconception number 1. Everything needs blockchain. In reality, not everything needs this technology. There needs to be a real need or a real use case. In front of me, I have a chart, and I'll put a link down below that makes it very easy for projects or companies to figure out, do they really need to use this technology? They'll start off with questions such as, do you need a database? Does it require shared write access, meaning anyone can write on it or edit it? Does it need to have a third party? Does it need to have a trusted third party, or can it work without one? So already going through these first 3-4 questions, whether your answer is yes or no, you'll figure out right off the bat, do you even need this technology? Even if you figure out that you do need blockchain, it's still not that simple. You then have to decide, do I need to use a public blockchain, a private blockchain, or a hybrid blockchain? So not everything needs this, but I will give you a few examples of industries or projects that would need blockchain technology. Some examples would be medical records, voting, and real estate. Misconception number 2, blockchain is very fast. The truth is, blockchain is very slow and inefficient. So there really needs to be a need for it or a use case for a company to even want to use this technology, because there's a big trade-off. One of the biggest reasons why blockchain is not fast and it's inefficient is because you have to remember, let's say using a public blockchain, information is being circulated to all the nodes on the network. This could be thousands of nodes. They could be all over the world, and this takes time. Even on a private blockchain, which is a bit quicker, it still could take some time to circulate all the information between the nodes, even if it's 5 or 10 nodes, much slower than it would be when you have a centralized database or a centralized system. And it's also inefficient because it's hard to update. Especially on a public blockchain, it's extremely difficult to update. But even on a private blockchain, you can update it. It might be easier, but it still will take some time. So for a project or a business that changes a lot and has to change their rules and regulations, maybe blockchain is not for you. Misconception number 3, blockchain is cheap. Blockchain is actually very expensive. And the reason why it's very expensive has to do with software developers. Software developers are the core, the backbone of any blockchain project. And the reason it's so expensive is because there's very few skilled blockchain developers right now in the world. Blockchain developers have to know multiple languages, and they also need to know how to code in very specific languages that are for very specific blockchains. One example would be Ethereum requires developers to code in a language called Solidity, and not all developers know this language. So if you find these developers, you have to pay them a high salary to employ them, and then you have to continue paying them a high salary to maintain the safety of the network. Misconception number 4, you can just create your own blockchain and everything will be okay. Well, it is easy to create a blockchain. Anyone with basic software development skills can create their own blockchain. But the problem is, how do you know that it's safe and secure? There are many projects around already and blockchains that have been tested, tried, and true. So why create your own blockchain when you can just build upon an already existing blockchain that has already proven itself? So if you go on CoinMarketCap, you see there's a lot of coins here. A project could just build upon one of these blockchains. But the fact of the matter is, when any company or business or project builds on blockchain, they're probably not going to use a public blockchain. They'll probably use a private blockchain because they have to adhere to certain rules such as privacy, and they have to be able to update or upgrade their ledger as needed. So one example of a framework used for enterprise businesses would be Hyperledger. So let's say you have right now at the moment a company such as Walmart, which partnered up with IBM, and they are going to run a supply chain on the blockchain to track food. They're using Hyperledger Fabric, which is a type or a kind of framework in Hyperledger. So the big takeaway from this video is that not everything needs blockchain technology. When a project or a company is thinking about utilizing this technology, they have to go through this chart and figure out for themselves, do we even need to use blockchain? I hope that you found value in today's video. If you like my content, please go down below and subscribe to the channel. Show your love. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.